Spotify presents ESPN Cricinfo playlist of the day. Our focus is on the game between Rajasthan Royals and Royal Challengers Bangalore. It's a royal affair, but neither of those Royals have actually won anything this IPL. So let's have a look at playlist that Brad Hodge and Ajit Agarkar will then make sense of for all of you. Who's on the playlist today? We've got Yuzvendra Chahal. He'd want to forget what David Warner and Johnny Best did to him a few days back. Rahul Tripathi lost his wicket and the game turned for Rajasthan. Shreyas Gopal, one of Brad Hodge's favourites. Dhaval Kulkarni. After that, Ajit Agarkar has seen him from close quarters, and Ajinkya Rahane as well. So two Mumbai boys that feature on that list. Right, let's go first up to Yuzvendra Chahal, who actually has another left-hander who could hit a few, but he has good numbers against Ben Stokes, and that's why we've picked Chahal on our playlist. Got him twice, Hodgie, and I mean, he's got the responsibility of adding some life in what will be a very flat Bangalore bowling lineup now.
Yeah, it's a big matchup. Stokes, I think, has come into a bit of form after the last game. Didn't quite get his side home, but yeah, Chahal's a big player. He's an Indian player, needs to step up, especially when your side's been down and out. You turn to your senior players, and he's one of them. So I think he'll enjoy bowling in Jaipur as well. We've seen his Shodhi do particularly well there last year. So yeah, I mean, he'll be a good contributor.
And he has to, given that he thinks his buddy Umesh Yadav might go for a few runs against Rahul Tripathi, and that's our next matchup. Umesh Yadav, big responsibility after what we saw last season. Maybe he's raised the bar from all of us for himself, Ajit, but Tripathi's numbers very good against Umesh Yadav, and he's looking like he struck a bit of form just before he got out against Chennai the other night.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, they should try and get him as high up the order as they can. That's where he's been the most effective. Great numbers against Umesh. We don't quite know whether Umesh is likely to play after that mauling that RCB have got in Hyderabad.
How do you put Tripathi up though? In whose place?
Yeah, that's the tricky part, because even Ajinkya Rahane, in my opinion, is best suited to open the innings. It's a difficult one for them. I don't think you're moving Butler from that 1 or 2 spot. So, yeah, maybe a number 3. It's just to get him in the game quicker, but like you said, at least he's struck some good form and has got good numbers against the guy he might be playing against. So, looks good for Rajasthan. Yeah,
Brad Hodge was all set to pick AB de Villiers on this playlist, but then he saw the numbers of Shreyas Gopal against him, and that has convinced this very seasoned IPL and T20 specialist to go with Shreyas Gopal. It was a very special record, Hodge, against the greatest batsman arguably in the format.
That's amazing. I picked him for my Fab 4 last game, didn't deliver. I'm going to have to back him again this game against one of the greatest batters of all times, AB de Villiers, who got dismissed by Mohammad Nabi, so maybe it's a spin thing. Big important role to play. I mean, it's one of the things I just don't quite think that RR have that X-spin factor, so he needs to stand up.
Yeah, you want to talk about Indian seamers that might stand up against Virat Kohli. Ajit Agarkar will like these numbers for Dhaval Kulkarni against the Indian captain and the RCB captain. We saw great numbers of Sandeep Sharma, who's got Virat Kohli, what, half a dozen times now, and Dhaval Kulkarni is not far behind. He's got Kohli 4 times.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. I mean, Dhaval Kulkarni, you can understand, gets the ball to go away, and if Virat Kohli early on in his innings can be, you know, if someone can get the ball away from him, you stand half a chance. And Dhaval Kulkarni is done that. I remember him getting him, I think, in Bengaluru. Got at point or gully, if I'm not wrong, at one of the games couple of seasons back. So yeah, you can understand that. He'll need to do that. I mean, if he does get Virat Kohli up early with a new ball, he's been good with the new ball. Hopefully Rahane again, you know, almost like Virat Kohli's been doing with Umesh Yadav. Uses him well. Or MS Dhoni with Deepak Chahar. Maybe that's a role that Dhaval Kulkarni could play. Try and bowl up front early because he's quite effective.
Very well. Speaking of Ajinkya Rahane, he'd like to strike some form of his own. He got some runs early against Chennai. Who knows? And Haji, if you look at his strike rate against Bangalore, he totally kills it. 130 in spite of the 118. That's his career strike rate in 2020 cricket. So he enjoys playing against Bangalore.
Well, usually as a batsman, you feel comfortable against certain units, and obviously Jinx feels comfortable against this unit, and he's coming off some good touch as well. So he's playing the ball quite well. Got some runs down there at the Hyderabad, but he needs to stand up as well as captain. You know, when your side's 0-3, he needs to get home to his home ground and turn it on.
All right, someone is going to have to turn it on if points are supposed to be brought for either Rajasthan or Bangalore. Many thanks to Brad and to Ajit. These form our Spotify Present ESPN Cricinfo playlist of the day.